The reason that West Park neighborhood was selected for the protest is because Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Tim McGinty lives nearby, and demonstrators want to catch his attention. Some neighbors fear the protest, though, could spawn trouble, and they've created a group called Protect Our City. They say they will be at the park, but some taking part in the protest say their demonstration will be peaceful.
Honestly, I'm not really thinking.
That rally is scheduled to take place at 10 a.m. The Protect Our City one. News Channel 5 will be there to provide coverage on our newscasts as well as on our NewsNet 5 app. Cleveland police also preparing for possible protests when the verdict is released in the Michael Brelo trial. A Cuyahoga County judge is deciding the case. Brelo, a Cleveland police officer, is charged with voluntary manslaughter. He's one of several police officers who shot two unarmed suspects to death following a police chase in November of 2012. And a verdict in that case could come at any time. 20 people arrested in a prostitution sweep in Richland and Ashland counties, and police say they are still looking for at least 10 more suspects. The arrests coming after a 3-month-long investigation. Police say some of the women used social media to solicit customers. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine may be changing his tune about legalizing marijuana in the Buckeye State. He now says he's looking into the idea of a proposal for medical marijuana. The Ohio Ballot Board has already approved 2 proposals to legalize recreational marijuana that could end up before voters. Nearly 1.5 million Ohioans plan to travel for Memorial Day, and most by car. That's 5% more people on the road than last year, thanks in part to lower gas prices this Memorial Day than in recent years. Even though prices have crept back up in the last few days, we are still paying almost $1 less a gallon than last year. Well, if you're firing up the grill this holiday weekend, be ready to pay a little more for the food that you're cooking up. The combined prices of burgers, hot dogs, beer, watermelon, also ice cream are up 2% from 2014. But that's not as bad as last year when prices jumped more than 5%. Ground beef has seen the biggest price increase, up nearly 14% in the past year. Life lessons at the end of a fishing pole. Northeast Ohio group using the great outdoors to help kids live better lives. We'll tell you how your kids can take part. And also, not just potholes, but sinkholes. The driving danger many of us are dodging these days, and what is being done to repair them. We'll have that story.
You made a mistake. You got in my goddamn car. Yeah, you're right. That is a mistake.
Yeah, a mistake he won't forget. A would-be carjacker winds up held up at gunpoint. Hashim Fanin says that he just parked his car when another man hopped in. The man tried to say he thought Hashim was his friend, and that's why he got into his car. But Hashim says he didn't buy it. He kept his gun pointed at the guy on the ground for several minutes until police arrived. And one officer even shook his hand before putting the man in handcuffs. A Good Samaritan ended this crazy slow-speed chase in Los Angeles. Police started following the Mustang because the driver was wanted for possible drunk driving. About an hour into the chase, a bystander walked in front of the car. The driver stopped, put his hands in the air, and got out of the car. The bystander then took him over to police and pushed him onto the hood of a cruiser. While police appreciated the effort, they say civilians should never, ever put themselves in danger like that. Not always a good idea to walk in front of a car, Lisa, whether it's slow moving or not. If our pothole-plagued streets aren't bad enough, the Pothole Patrol is now getting complaints about sinkholes, and fixing those can be a very complex process. Investigator Jonathan Walsh says depending on the situation, there could be different departments involved. All right, thanks, Jonathan. If you are having problems with sinkholes, city reps say that you should report them through 311. That's the mayor's action hotline, or just contact your council member. And if you ever see news happening, make sure you let us know. You can text or email us. Another way to get in touch, 5tips@newsnet5.com, or tweet us at WEWS. Now here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. Welcome back. New this morning, a gun battle in Mexico. Mexican authorities say at least 43 people died in the gunfight between federal police and a suspected drug gang. The violence broke out when agents surrounded a ranch that the gang used in western Mexico. Disturbing news out of the city of Palmyra, Syria, where the terrorist group ISIS has taken over. Now there are reports of a bloody purge underway. Islamic State extremists are going door to door in search of government troops and loyalists. Those found are being shot or beheaded. It's also feared that Palmyra's archaeological sites will be destroyed. ISIS has done that in other areas, calling ancient statues and treasures offensive to Islam. The Indians have now won 4 in a row, and the Cavs pick up their second win in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Andy Baskin has more in this morning's Look at Sports. All right, thanks, Andy. These days, parents have their work cut out for them. For some, there's just too much for their children to get into. For others, the struggle is getting their kids to be active and social. Well, there's a group in Northeast Ohio trying to do something about that, and it is winning the hearts and minds of kids one fish at a time. News Channel 5's George Noliff went to the Portage Lakes for the story. He got his huge bass. Sorry, that was George Noliff reporting. Any kid can join Sportsmen Up tomorrow, and the group says you don't even have to have knowledge of outdoor activities, just the desire to do them, and they will take care of the teaching. And we have more information right on our Newsnet 5 app. Coming up, Sea of Blue, a group on a mission to ease tensions in the city of Cleveland. We'll tell you more on what they are doing. Plus, safe zones. Police departments in a Northeast Ohio county taking steps to protect you from online ripoff artists. And a live look outside. Elisa says lots of sunshine in our forecast today. We'll check in with her again when we come back. To give you an idea where I am, I'm on Detroit Road right by Crocker Park. This apartment complex that caught fire and is still on fire is the Barrington apartment complex. Right behind me, they have this area blocked off. Detroit closed between Bassett Road and Settlers Reserve Way, about a quarter mile. Good morning. I'm reporting live here on East 113th off of Superior Avenue in Cleveland. We have breaking news this morning. A 7-week-old baby girl is missing. An Amber Alert has been issued, and just learned new information. Cleveland police are looking for this suspect, Ramon Ogletree. That is the name, Ramon Ogletree, in this case here, this Amber Alert case of a missing 7-week-old baby girl. This baby girl last seen wearing pink pants, according to this Amber Alert I'm seeing here, a pink shirt and red socks. The victims in this case, 2 boys ages 13 and 15, were simply going to a convenience store to buy iced tea when shots rang out. Our sources telling us this was over a dirt bike robbery, that the shooter was looking for a witness who could link them to the crime. Witnesses heard gunshots at the Marathon gas station near 117th and St. Clair. 10 minutes later, more bullets were fired into Russell's Food Mart parking lot across the street. The teens were there to buy iced tea. Both were hit by bullets. A nurse saw it happen and jumped into action.
Putting the pressure to the wounds and making sure that he was okay until the ambulance came. It was sad. It's just real sad.
Police found more than 20 shell casings at the scene, and witnesses saw a 2015 white Dodge Charger with tinted windows. They believe the shooter was in the back seat of that vehicle using an automatic weapon. Live in Cleveland, Kristin Byrne, News Channel 5.
Well, new information about
all these babies is getting killed for what?
As soon as neighbors saw the police lights and sirens, they knew it couldn't be good.
These kids don't ask for this. They're being taken out for what?
The shock still hasn't settled. Hearing another child, a baby at that, had been shot in the city, let alone their backyard.
It's sickening. I'm sad. It's disgusting. What is it going to take before these animals begin to conduct themselves in a manner of how we're supposed to conduct ourselves? It has to stop.
But what can the community do? A question we keep asking again and again. After now, a 3rd child killed in Cleveland's East Side in a month's time.
We all share the same sentiment in that the line has been crossed.
Mayor Frank Jackson on scene of this latest death, at times at a loss for words.
What can you say? Other than the fact we all feel the same pain.
The pain, though, he says, needs to fuel action. He says we desperately need federal help. Locally, we're losing the battle against gun violence.
We introduced legislation and council passed some form of that legislation around responsible gun ownership. And we were immediately challenged in court. So we can't even enforce that.
Something, though, Jackson knows has to change and has to change soon.
Just to save them from these streets that has turned into a war zone.